You've spent months, maybe years, building a trading strategy that works. You've back tested it, you've forward tested it, the numbers are there, and the edge is real. And then you trade it live, and somehow it doesn't work. Not because the strategy is wrong, the strategy is fine. The strategy works exactly the way it's supposed to when you're calm, when the stakes feel manageable, and when it's just another trade. But add real money, real pressure, a string of losses, a position that's moving against you, and suddenly the strategy that you built stops being the strategy that you execute. You exit too early, you skip valid setups, you override your own rules. You watch a perfect entry form and don't take it. Strategy didn't fail. You deviated from it. And there's a very specific reason that keeps happening. And it's got nothing to do with the strategy. The trading industry has a $12 billion strategy problem. Courses, indicators, systems, signals, all of it built on the assumption that if you just have the right edge on paper, you'll be able to execute it. But that assumption is wrong. Execution isn't a function of strategy quality. It's a function of your internal state at the moment of decision. And your internal state is not static. It changes based on your recent trade history, your activation level, your sleep, your stress load outside the market, none of which your strategy accounts for. Here's the clinical reality. When your nervous system is in an elevated state, what I call high activation level, your risk perception becomes distorted. Valid setups start to look dangerous. Your brain, running a threat response, prioritizes safety over opportunity. So you hesitate. You don't take the trade. You wait for more confirmation that never comes. Or you exit a winning trade early because your nervous system can't tolerate the uncertainty. Your strategy was built in a regulated state. You're trying to execute it in a dysregulated one. That's the gap, not the strategy. The state you're in when you try to run it. 3 signs your problem is state, not strategy. Sign 1, your strategy works, but only in certain conditions. You have winning periods, sometimes extended ones, and then something shifts. A drawdown, a few missed trades, a change in volatility, and suddenly you can't execute the same system that was working a week ago. The strategy hasn't changed. The market hasn't fundamentally changed, but your state has. Your activation is elevated. And elevated activation changes how you process risk in real time. Sign 2, you have a different relationship with winning trades and losing trades. Specifically, you cut your winners short and let your losers run, or the reverse. Either way, your exits don't match your plan. That asymmetry is your nervous system managing discomfort, not your strategy managing risk. When you're regulated, you follow your plan. When you're not, your brain starts improvising to reduce the emotional discomfort of uncertainty. And improvisation costs you your edge. Sign 3. You've bought more than one trading course or system trying to fix this. And this one lands differently. If you've cycled through strategies looking for the one that finally makes you consistent, the problem was never the strategy. You already knew what to do. What you didn't have was the internal infrastructure to do it when it mattered. More strategy is not the answer to a regulation problem. It's just a more expensive way of avoiding it. If any of those three are familiar, welcome to the majority of traders who will never figure this out because they keep looking in the wrong place. So what do you actually do about it? Not breathing exercises, not affirmations, not a rule that says no trading after a loss that you break every time anyway. What you need is a way to measure where your activation is before you ever open a position. So the intervention happens before the breach, not after. And the traders I work with track something I call an activation level. It's a real-time internal read on where your nervous system is sitting relative to your personal threshold. And the critical insight is this: your threshold isn't fixed. It shifts based on recent losses, sleep, stress, sequence of trades, which means I feel fine is not a reliable pre-trade check. A scored measure is. And when you can see that number, and when you have a protocol for what to do when it's elevated, revenge trading doesn't disappear through willpower. It becomes structurally impossible because you're not relying on discipline in the moment. You've built a system that makes the breach visible before it happens. And that system is what I build with traders inside the Calm Assassin Rewire. If you want to understand what that looks like in practice, the application link is below. If you've revenge traded, and if you're watching this, you probably have, I want you to know something. It doesn't mean you're not cut out for this. It means you've been trying to solve a nervous system problem with a trading solution. And those two things are not the same category of problem. So drop a comment below. What's the trigger for yours? What's the loss size, the situation, the sequence that tips you over? I read every one, and sometimes just naming it is the first step to measuring it. And if you're ready to go further, the link is below. Regulation is the edge, so we'll see you in the next one.